My name is Michelle Wilson. I'm a 35-year-old who works from home. My husband, Anthony, is an obstetrician gynecologist. We met in college, fell in love, and got married. Anthony is very busy with his job, so it's hard to find time together. We thought about having a wedding, but due to the nature of his work, with emergency patients often coming in, we couldn't set a definite date. So, we gave up on the wedding and focused on having a child. At first, Anthony said,
"Working in obstetrics, I see a lot of unhappy children. So, I can't be very positive about having kids."
But I really wanted a child, so I persuaded him, and I successfully got pregnant. We had a beautiful baby girl. Now, our lovely daughter is 5 years old. She can be a bit demanding at times, but she's truly adorable. However, Anthony doesn't want to engage with her. Once, he made a shocking statement.
"I've seen many children being born, but seeing that, I can't find children cute."
After hearing that, my love for Anthony completely vanished. Our family relationship was really terrible. After hearing that statement, I decided that instead of raising our child with Anthony, I would raise her on my own. But to my daughter, he's still her father. Naturally, she wants to play with him when he's home. But he doesn't want to play. He made several promises to take her to amusement parks and steakhouses, but none of those promises were kept.
Hey Daddy, my 5th birthday is over, so can we go out for steak next time? Please, just this once. Can we go together?
"All right, steak it is."
Our daughter was really looking forward to it because of that promise. However, on the day,
"I have an emergency at work today, so I can't go."
she was really looking forward to it.
"I don't care. I have work." "Are you saying I should skip work to go for steak with her? Isn't that unprofessional?"
Fine, whatever. I quickly hung up the phone and explained the situation to our daughter. "I'm sorry, but it looks like Daddy can't make it."
I knew it. Okay.
So, the two of us went for steak. She clenched her teeth and held back her tears the whole time. From that day on, she stopped asking Anthony for anything. The same went for me. I no longer expected anything from him. One day on a holiday, I was heading to the river with my daughter. There's a beautiful river nearby where children often play. That day, we were playing in the river with my daughter's friend and her parents. At some point, my daughter's toy floated away, so I asked my friend to watch my daughter while I went after the toy. It had drifted to a faster part of the river, and I was using a stick to try to retrieve it. Just as I was about to get the toy, I felt a sudden impact from behind. As I lost consciousness, I heard someone say, "It's your fault." When I woke up, I was in the hospital. My daughter and her friend's family were looking at me with concern. My friend went to get the doctor when she saw I was awake. The doctor came and took my daughter out of the room. I was told that I had a concussion, but my life was not in danger. Apparently, a man nearby had saved me. I was really relieved but suddenly felt very vulnerable. The shock of hitting my head and the fact that someone had pushed me terrified me. So, I asked, "Please, can you call my husband? Anthony Wilson. He works at this hospital." The doctor replied,
"There's no doctor by that name at this hospital."
"What? He's supposed to be working in obstetrics and gynecology."
I'm sorry, but there really is no such doctor here. Maybe you're confused because of the head injury. Please rest for a while.
That's what I was told. At times like this, I want my husband to support me. Despite calling for Anthony, was I lied to? I didn't want to think about it anymore, so I went to sleep. When I woke up again, my mother was there. It seemed my friend had taken my daughter to my parents' house, and my mother came after hearing what happened. My father was taking care of my daughter. My mother handled the paperwork and I told her what had happened.
Rest for now, and we'll talk when you're discharged.
I told her I didn't want to see Anthony for a while because I didn't trust him, and she said she would talk to him for me. After I was discharged, Anthony contacted me.
Are you okay?
Now you ask? I'm fine.
Are you at your parents' house? When are you coming back?
Oh, because my sister is at home? You need to know when I'll be back, right? Did you see the certified letter?
What is that?
I could tell Anthony was very shaken, but I knew about his wrongdoings. While I was in the hospital, something kept running through my mind. It was the last words I heard before losing consciousness. It's your fault. What could they have meant by that? Honestly, thinking about it didn't help. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't recall the words I hadn't heard clearly. So, I decided to investigate. I hired a private investigator and found out that my husband's affair partner was my sister, Sophia. But that wasn't all. Anthony worked at the hospital where I was taken. It seemed he had instructed the staff not to mention his presence, as if he knew I was coming. What this meant was that Anthony, who had claimed to be working that day, was actually with Sophia. He must have kept quiet to prevent me from discovering the affair. Unbelievable. Sophia, on her part, seemed to find me a nuisance and wanted me to get a divorce. However, given her circumstances, I couldn't believe she genuinely loved Anthony. Perhaps she simply couldn't stand my happiness. I wouldn't know unless I heard it from her directly. If Sophia and Anthony were together, it might have been Sophia who pushed me. Maybe the last words I heard were, "It's your fault, sis." Thinking about this made me tremble with fear. The idea that my own sister might be trying to end my life, and that Anthony might have been there, was terrifying. I thought my daughter might have seen something, so I decided to ask her. "Hey, did you see anything when Mommy fell into the river?"
Huh? No, I didn't.
But her hands were trembling. Really? Then why are you shaking? Tell Mommy everything. I'll protect you.
Mommy.
She started to cry. I hugged her and let her cry until she calmed down. It took an hour for her to finally calm down and be able to talk. She told me that she had told my friend she was going to check on me and followed me. What she saw was Anthony and Sophia pushing me. When she tried to run away without being noticed by Anthony, he called out to her.
Hey, if you tell anyone about this, the people you care about will get hurt.
It was Sophia who pushed you, Mommy. Daddy saw it, and then they both walked away holding hands after saying something to me.
I see. It must have been hard not being able to talk about it until now. I'm sorry. She started crying again. As I hugged her, I thought about what I should do about Anthony. Then my mother made a suggestion. and I decided to go along with it. The action we took was to send a certified letter to the hospital. As I mentioned earlier, we knew the hospital where Anthony worked, and it was run by Anthony's father. Not only would the affair be known to the hospital, but also to his own father. Anthony, being the director's son, had always done as he pleased. Upon investigating Anthony, I found that many people did not have a good opinion of him. He would pass off difficult tasks to others and only take on easy jobs. He never dealt with emergency patients, so all those times he left the house for emergencies, he was likely meeting Sophia. Anthony had been living freely, which means his father had allowed it. But this time, things would be different. My father is the director of a much larger hospital and had provided significant funding to Anthony's father's hospital in the past. Because of this, Anthony's father couldn't oppose my father. Hurting me, my father's daughter, would come with serious consequences. After sending the certified letter, Anthony contacted me as he did.
You're misunderstanding something.
What am I misunderstanding?
It wasn't an affair. I was meeting Sophia to buy your birthday present, not to cheat. You said before that Sophia has good taste, so I thought I'd ask her for help.
Oh, really? You forgot my birthday was last month.
What? Oh, was it?
Yes, it seems you forgot.
Oh.
And I know you pushed me into the river.
That's not true. I was trying to surprise you and accidentally bumped into you.
I asked our daughter.
She has a habit of lying, you know that. You know she does.
She doesn't have a habit of lying.
How can you not notice that as her mother? I spend less time with her than you do, but I know her better.
What's so funny? You almost killed me and threatened our daughter. I will never forgive you.
What do you mean you won't forgive me? What are you going to do? Sending a certified letter, so what? What impact does that have?
Your father and Sophia are engaged, aren't they?
What? What are you talking about?
You didn't know?
I didn't know. My father is 60 years old. Why would he be engaged to 30-year-old Sophia?
That's what my parents said too. They were strongly against it, but Sophia insisted she wanted to marry him.
No way. She said she wanted to marry me.
She probably wants to ruin both our marriage and your relationship with your father.
What do you mean?
My sister hates seeing people happy, even if it's family.
What do you mean? Explain it to me.
My parents are getting along now, but their relationship was terrible in the past. The reason was because Sophia lied.
She lied?
Yes. She told my mother that my father was having an affair. As you know, my father is extremely busy with work and doesn't have time for such things. But my mother ignored Sophia's story once. Well, she didn't notice it. At that time, she was talking to my father, and they seemed to be getting along well. That must have bothered Sophia, so she started lying to ruin their relationship. It took 3 years to clear up that misunderstanding. During that time, Sophia seemed very happy. She enjoys seeing people suffer. If I had a boyfriend, she would take him away. If someone didn't listen to her or got in her way, she would destroy them at school. That's the kind of person she is. So now, she wants to ruin my relationship with you and damage your relationship with your father, making both of them dependent on her. But you weren't planning to divorce me, were you?
I wasn't thinking about divorce. Sophia is just an affair partner. It's just for fun.
That's why she pushed me.
What? You think it was intentional?
Of course.
That's not true. We were hiding the affair, but we really were trying to surprise you.
You really didn't understand. But when Sophia pushed me, she said, "It's your fault, sis." She must have meant that my happiness was the problem.
What? So she really is trying to destroy my family?
Probably. But what you did is also a fact, so you're equally guilty. Maybe you should talk to Sophia.
Call Sophia.
Why don't you call her yourself?
Oh, my father just contacted me.
A son who messed with his father's fiancée. This is going to be bad.
Don't joke. What should I do?
What do you think? Go to the hospital. I'll talk to Sophia. I'm divorcing you, so I'll send the divorce papers to the hospital.
Divorce?
Of course. I can't be with you anymore, and our daughter is scared of you. Anthony seemed like he wanted to say something, but he must have realized there was no more time to talk. He hung up the phone. I immediately contacted Sophia and called her to the house. As soon as she walked in, she said,
Hey. You did something unnecessary, didn't you?
"What unnecessary thing? I didn't do anything."
You sent a certified letter to the hospital, didn't you? Even though you know I'm engaged to Jim.
I know, but it's a fact that you had an affair with my husband.
It was just for fun. It's fine because it was just a fling. Don't do unnecessary things just because you're shocked that your sister took your husband.
Keep laughing. I'll do what I want.
You're the worst. Anthony was just for fun. Jim is always playing around, so I was just playing with Anthony as a punishment. I don't love Anthony.
Then maybe you should let him know. Tell him you had an affair as a punishment.
That's different. I just wanted to satisfy my desires. I don't want to be blamed.
I don't care. You're always thinking about yourself. Why are you so selfish? You were relatively spoiled growing up, so you shouldn't have any complaints.
What? Spoiled? I wasn't spoiled, I was neglected. I was allowed to get bad grades and do nothing, and no one said anything. You and our brother could do everything, so it was fine if I couldn't do anything. They thought it was enough to just raise me as the cute one. But that's not what I wanted. I wanted them to have expectations for me too. I can't forgive that.
What are you talking about?
Besides, I'm really cute, so people come to me even if I stay quiet. So, if anyone says anything about my relationships with men, it's not my fault. They come to me even if I don't want them to. It's your fault for not being able to keep your husband.
Well, you can keep saying that. But how do you think your fiancé will interpret this? If the engagement is broken, there will be compensation, and since I'm divorcing, I'll be claiming compensation from you.
Fine. All my money has been provided by the old lady so far, so she'll probably do the same this time.
That's not possible.
Why not?
Because she's really angry with you. Of course, she is. You tried to kill your sister. Both of us are her daughters, but she won't forgive the one who tried to kill the other.
That's not fair. It's because you have a child and look so happy. I can't have children.
Really?
Yes. There was a man I wanted to marry so badly that I tried really hard to get pregnant, but I couldn't. I thought there might be a problem, so I got checked and found out I'm 99% infertile. So, seeing someone like you, with a child and working from home, living a winning life, makes me furious. Anthony was so easy. I just showed a bit of my body at the gynecologist, and he came over with a grin. It was really simple. I even thought about taking your daughter, but Anthony said he didn't want her, so that plan failed.
What do you mean by taking my daughter?
I can't have children. Don't you think it's unfair that only you have a child? So, like when Mom doubted Dad, I thought if I told your daughter that her mom hates her, I could take her in.
What are you thinking? I won't forgive you.
I have to do that to bring you down to rock bottom.
Why do I have to hit rock bottom for you to be happy?
Why? Because seeing people happy makes me itchy and angry. It's not that I want to be the only one happy, but when someone I don't approve of, like you, is happy, it really pisses me off.
I can't understand your thinking. I don't know what will happen from now on, but you need to take responsibility for your actions. After I said that, she left the house. The next day, my parents, Anthony's father, Anthony, Sophia, and I gathered for a meeting. Sophia was the first to speak.
I didn't do anything wrong. It started when Anthony attacked me while I was a patient. I was scared, but since Jim wasn't paying attention to me, I thought I'd have a little fling. So it's not my fault, it's Anthony's. Fire him. Anthony often badmouthed Jim and said he wanted to go independent.
That's not true. Don't be ridiculous. She showed her body during the examination and pushed me onto the examination table. I have a wife, so I wasn't serious. I didn't know she was my father's fiancée. I'm not at fault.
They kept making excuses. I was exasperated with both of them. It's not about who's more at fault. Both of you are guilty. So both of you will face severe consequences. I'm divorcing Anthony and will claim compensation from both Sophia and Anthony. What will you do, Jim?
Of course, I'll claim compensation. Anthony is fired, and the engagement with Sophia is off. I want nothing to do with either of them.
Wait, Jim. I'm the victim here. Why?
Why? How can you even ask that?
But Jim, you had an affair too.
At 60 years old, do you think I'd have an affair? I might talk to nurses, but I don't have affairs. At my age, I'm not interested in women's bodies like that. Sophia said she wanted to marry me, and I thought it would be better to have support than to live alone. I didn't realize she was Brown's daughter. Michelle is a wonderful person, and I'm lucky she married into the family. Even if she weren't Brown's daughter, she's very important to me. Hurting Michelle, betraying me, and blaming my son, I'll never forgive that.
What is this? Why is it always me? And always about my sister? I will never forgive you. Dad, tell them. Make them understand their place. You're the one with the higher status, right?
That's not the issue. You did something unforgivable. I have no intention of forgiving you either.
Dad, too? You're all useless. What is wrong with these people? Sis, just so you know, I'm not at fault. You can claim compensation, but I won't pay a cent.
Is that so? Then we'll take it to court. We'll fight it out there. That's all I have to say. Sophia fell silent. Then, in a small voice, she said,
Fine. Whatever. I'm the only bad one here, right?
With that, she left the room. Next up was Anthony.
I don't want a divorce. I'll take better care of our daughter and change my ways. So please, don't divorce me. And don't fire me. I never intended to go independent, and I respect my father. Please, both of you, believe me.
I don't believe you. I thought Sophia was your first, but you've done this many times before, haven't you? Your father knows about this, right?
Yes. There were quite a few issues at the hospital. I covered them up several times, so I thought Michelle didn't know. I regret covering them up now. I'm truly sorry.
No, you did nothing wrong. You're just a victim. Anthony, I can't be with you anymore. I don't love you anymore. Do you remember what you said about our daughter? I can't find her cute. I can't let someone who says that be her father. Please divorce me. I'll be claiming compensation, and Dad, can you ask the lawyer to handle it?
Of course. We'll make sure to claim compensation from Sophia and Anthony. Jim, our relationship won't change, but it's a fact that my daughter caused trouble. If there's anything, we need to respond. What do you think?
No, there's nothing. My son caused trouble and hurt your precious daughter. I'm truly sorry.
The conversation settled down for a moment, and Anthony looked utterly devastated. After that, I was discussing compensation claims with a lawyer. One day, I received a call from my daughter's school teacher.
Your daughter hasn't come to school.
I panicked and contacted the police. It turned out that Sophia was seen walking with my daughter. When we asked around, people mentioned seeing a woman with pink hair walking with a little girl. Sophia had recently dyed her hair pink, so it was clear it was her. I immediately informed the police, and they quickly found Sophia. She was taken into custody.
Mommy,
Are you okay? You must have been so scared. I'm sorry.
I was scared. She said she would throw me into the river. When I tried to scream, she said if I did, she would push you again. Mommy, I'm so scared.
It's okay, now. I'll file a complaint with the police. This is unforgivable, and she will face the consequences. I'm really sorry. I filed a complaint with the police, and Sophia was arrested. After that, Anthony and I finalized our divorce. Anthony not only lost his job at the hospital but was also abandoned by me, his family, and his only blood relative, his father. But that's the consequence of his actions. It couldn't be helped. When Anthony left the hospital, he asked his colleagues to put in a good word with his father, but since he was already disliked at the hospital, no one tried to stop him from leaving. In fact, many were glad he was gone. To pay the compensation, Anthony went to various hospital interviews, but my father made sure he couldn't work at any nearby hospitals. Now, he works at a rural hospital. The compensation is being paid regularly, so he must be keeping his job. Regardless, we were bound to divorce. However, this incident was a betrayal to me and my daughter, so I will never forgive him. Sophia was arrested by the police, and a restraining order was issued, preventing her from coming near us. She has to work to pay the compensation, but having never held a proper job and with a criminal record, she struggled to find work. Realizing the severity of the situation, my parents hired her as a cleaner at the hospital. They made sure she worked diligently with a strict supervisor and managed her salary, leaving her with very little. The compensation is being paid from her salary, but seeing the large amounts being transferred, it's clear my sister has very little money left. After living freely for so long, it's time for her to put in the effort. Meanwhile, my daughter and I continue to live happily. The compensation has made our lives a bit more comfortable, but we remain as happy as ever. I've made my daughter sad many times in the past, so from now on, I will shower her with love to ensure she never feels that way again.
How did you like this story? Please subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video.